just go for it. You just have to put yourself in it and just say yes and just go for it. And if you fail, you fail, but then you learn from it because no one's going to do it for you. You can't sit around and wait for someone to hand it to you, because I guarantee you all of those successful people that you see online and you see that you're inspired by, they just went for it and they backed themselves 100%.
Welcome back to the Comp Closet podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are joined by a truly inspiring guest. She's an FMG pro and also the owner of award-winning VW Hair Studios. Brooke Michelle Wood, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to finally be here after some planning.
Yeah, you are one very busy lady, but I'm super excited for this chat. Could you start by giving us a bit of a brief overview of yourself and kind of what a typical day looks like for you right now in your crazy life?
Yes. Okay. So I am Brooke Michelle Wood. I am, like you said, an FMG Bikini Pro. I'm also the owner of BW Studios, BW Academy, and I'm actually working on another business, which is really exciting. So, as you can imagine, I'm extremely busy. So, my days typically start. My alarm goes off at 3:50 in the morning. Wake up. It takes me about an hour from then to kind of get myself sorted, get to the gym, do about an hour and a half session. Then we're on like 25 minutes cardio at the moment because obviously I am in prep, 9 weeks out from Mexico. And then get home, attend to Bronx. For those who don't know, that is my bulldog. And then just get ready for the day. And then, depending on the day, whether I'm on the floor in the salon or on the books, the books days are literally like back to back meetings. And then if I'm on the floor, I'm literally on the floor from like 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. and then coming back and hitting the books. So at the moment, I'm on the floor like 3 to 4 days and then on the books 3 days. So, and then Sunday is like my actual chill day, but still like routine stuff. So every day is pretty like back to back and set in like hour time slots.
Yeah, amazing. And I think that's something that I really admire about you is you've obviously got massive goals and you are putting in the work and putting in the time to achieve them. So I'm keen to kind of dive into a bit of your journey at the start of your fitness journey, like what initially drew you to bodybuilding and also hair.
Okay, so I actually love this question so much because I feel like it's really cool how I actually got into the bodybuilding world. So I started my apprenticeship when I was 16. I'm 33 now, so I've been in the industry for 17 years. And in 2016, I actually did hair backstage at one of Pauline and Ari's shows. So I was backstage and doing the hair for all the girls, and I was looking around and I was like, I used to be a dancer, and it was very, showy and like glitz and glam and like all the girls together. And I looked around, I've got goosebumps as I'm talking about it actually. I looked around and I was like, I can do this. Like, I love doing the hair for these girls, but I want to be on stage. So at that point, I gave myself a year. I was like, right, October next year, I'm stepping on stage. I'd never done it before. I was never a sporty person. I did love training in the gym, but had no idea about stepping into like the bodybuilding bikini competitor world. But I got my first coach and gave myself a year and stepped on stage in 2017 and then got my pro card 2018.
Amazing. That is so cool to hear that story. Like, you never know really what impact it has, people seeing you compete or the people you meet backstage, like even the hair and beauty team, like you said, you were in the hair team backstage. That is so cool that that started your competing journey.
Yeah, yeah. And it really, like, when I think about it, I think it's things like that that makes me still say out loud, like, take every opportunity, because you never know. Like, if I didn't do that, I may have never even dove into this world at all. And then who would I be, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like competing kind of changed the trajectory of your life and kind of your business goals as well?
Absolutely. I feel like competing you have to love it and you have to love the process. But the thing that I love the most, and the reason why I had such a big time off, was because I was so focused on business for a while. But then going back into this prep, I knew that it was only going to fuel my business because of the routine, the discipline, making sure that everything is literally like clear cut down to the hour. I knew that my business was only going to succeed even more because I was going to be more on the ball with myself. So I think it definitely, yeah, it definitely did change a lot, and it improved my values and my determination and my routine, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned you won your pro card in 2018, was it? Yeah. Have you competed since then?
So I did do a show 2019. So 2019 was my first pro show. And when I did that show, I can be 100% honest and say I definitely did not bring my best package. I was not happy with it, and I was really not mentally happy as well. So, having that be my first pro show and then coming off stage, and then obviously we hit COVID, I was going to like try and back myself up then. But it gave me that big break, and then that's when I started the business. But every single time I judged a show from then, or went and watched a show, or I just knew I had unfinished business because I wasn't happy with the previous, but also I know my determination and I know where I want to go with it. And I wasn't there yet. So yeah, that was my last show, 2019.
Yeah, amazing. And now you are 9 weeks out from making a comeback to the pro stage in Mexico, which is so exciting.
I'm so excited. I seriously still I can't believe it. I'm like, I can't believe this it's happening now. Like it's just, yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what you bring to that show. What was the inspiration behind choosing the Mexico show?
So actually my partner Ruben was already planning to prep for Mexico. And he kind of put the idea in my head, not straight away. He said, "Do you want to come to Mexico? I'm competing." And I thought, yeah, like I'll come. 2 weeks out of the business, that's fine. And then the next day, he's like, like, why don't you try and bring back a crown from Mexico? And I was like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. And then I sat, like, I thought about it. I reckon I thought about it for 2 hours. And then I messaged Jake, who's my coach, and I, yeah, put the idea to him. And then the next day, we planned my first check in, and then here I am. So it's like I just needed that little, it was there, but I just needed that little like kick up the butt to go, you can do this too. So and obviously it makes everything a lot easier that we have the same routine, same coach, same things on the weekend. So yeah, it's all happening, and now I've got my spark back.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been watching your stories and loving seeing, the prep process and seeing you getting back into a prep, which is so exciting. How is your prep this time different? Like, obviously, you mentioned last time you weren't 100% there mentally.
hmm I think this time is completely different. I've done so much, or had so much self development and maturity and like growth over the years, not only mentally, but I think physically as well. Like, even in my body's a lot healthier now than what it was back then. I was at a better starting point. My mental health is so much better when it comes to food, like my relationship with food. I think having that time off, um, I actually even stepped into doing like strongman things for a bit. So obviously during that period, I was eating, and I wasn't scared of food anymore. And I think that's made a massive difference in terms of like my mental health toward like my relationship with food, and also the changes in my body, going from like being lean to then obviously putting on some more body fat. So the changes are not as scary, and I'm not as hard on myself. understanding to trust the process. I have an amazing coach who I said that if I was going to do a prep again, I would always go with him, which is Jake Campus. So I'm just putting all my trust in him, no questions. Like it's just, I'm very, yeah, very accepting of the process now and not as hard on myself. And it's more exciting. So I think having more mental strength and building myself within my business and my salon as well has really matured me and made me a lot stronger through something like this.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that trusting your coach is so important as well. Like it just makes the entire process simple, really. Like you just do what your coach says, get it done, and then you'll get to where you need to be.
Absolutely. I could not be my own coach. I could
Yeah,
not.
no, neither.
Definitely not. No way.
So, do you have any nerves about getting back into it? Like, how are you feeling?
Do you know what? I don't have any nerves. I am so excited. Like because it's been a long time coming and because I'm confident on stage, I feel like that's from my dancing background. It's a lot of excitement and when I'm like in the gym, when I'm doing my cardio, and you get into that zone, and I feel like athletes and like competitors can really relate to when you get in that zone. It's like a completely, you go into this world where everything is just like blocked out. And I just visualize like walking on stage, like getting a crown. You just visualize all those things so strongly that it makes me more excited. It doesn't make me nervous. The thing that I'm nervous for is flying. I think prepping is already, like quite difficult when
Mm,
you are prepping where you live. But then going overseas with it, like holding fluid and traveling, like eating over there, like that's more of a stress or like nerves to me than actually being on stage.
yeah, absolutely. It definitely adds another element of organization to it because how long is the flight to Mexico?
I think it's like 24 or 26 hours. So I think the first flight's like 14 and a half, and then the next one is maybe like 6.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
So
lot.
you're traveling for a while.
Have you discussed it all with Jake, like what your protocols are going to be for flying or not yet?
Not yet. I'm actually going to have that conversation with him on Wednesday to figure out when we should fly in. Like if I should have a little bit more time here or a little bit more time there before the show.
Yeah. Well, the location looks insane. I was like stalking the host hotel and like where the show is and things. It looks so good. And I think like post show will be super fun as well. Do you have any plans for after the show?
So we haven't fully decided on like everything, but I know that Ruben did book us a photo shoot with Kendra. So she's so sweet. I'm so excited to shoot with her. So I'm gonna do a solo shoot with her. The next day, I think we're going to do it in Tulum at sunset, which is going to be insane. So she sent me a full inspo for photos of us and then like some of me on the beach. So that's our only plan so far. I think we're going to be like so excited at the show that I think afterwards we just want to like have some chili mugs, eat some tacos, like Mexican vibes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it'll be so good. I'm so excited for
I
you.
know. Thank you.
So moving on to hair care and hair tips, because you're obviously the queen of everything hair, and it's a big part of any competitor's presentation. Can you explain the different types of hair extensions available and what types you would recommend for girls who are competing?
Yeah. So definitely, I feel like so grateful that to be a sponsor for FMG Australia, having like our name to that brand is such an honor because we just love the whole family of it. And I think being a part of the industry, for the years, and then actually being able to have competitors come into the salon, if like whether they're pros or whether they're first time competitors, I think to have that relationship and know that they know what we're doing because of the experience with myself and with the girls going to the shows is, I think it's really calming for them to come to a place that they know that they're going to be understood and know what they're looking for on stage. I think something to do with extensions, it's very personal in the way of the client or the competitor's hair. So a lot of the time, you'll see someone like flick their hair on stage and like their top part will flick around, but their extensions will stay down. So, and you don't want people to be able to tell that you've got extensions. So this is where it comes into, we've got like the invisible weft extensions, which are really popular in our salon, and we've also got tape. So a lot of the times with the competitors, depending on their natural hair, we would do just a weft. Some people prefer tape, or we can do a combination of both so that you get the best blend for like when you're flicking your hair on stage and moving around. Yeah.
Yes, those hair flicks are so important. They
Oh
make
no.
all the difference. And what advice would you give to a competitor who's potentially on a tighter budget, but they still want their hair to look amazing?
So, in terms of being on stage with hair, it really depends on, I guess, the competitor's natural hair and what they're wanting for stage. So, if someone does already have, a lot of length to their hair or the fullness that they're wanting, I think having more of like healthy hair or shiny hair is something that really stands out on stage. Obviously, bleach, you're stripping your hair of everything. So if you can get some shine into natural hair, if you're not wanting to spend the money on extensions, I think that's really important. Otherwise, you do have the option of doing clip-ins. But so long as they're blended in, really nicely, I think that's really important for our girls that don't want to have the weft or tape. They just bring in some clip-ins that they have, and we just make sure they're cut in properly, styled in properly, so that they can get a really good result without, if they didn't want to go for the permanent option.
Yeah, absolutely. So with clip-ins, if someone was on a tighter budget and they're going for clip-ins, would you recommend like getting them, you said cut into your hair? Is that like before show day or on show day?
Yeah, so it's funny because a lot of people that are not guided, I think, by someone who has the experience, you will see girls out the back with actual like paper scissors cutting weft extensions out the back. And I'm like, oh my God. So we like to get girls in and fully prep their hair, knowing that how we're going to style it on show day or how they want it styled on show day. So even when it comes to our girls that come in for the wefts or tapes, or even if they want to bring their clip-ins in, we actually put them into the hair and I will get them to stand in their back pose and really like arch their back and then make sure that their hair's sitting at a good level, that it's not sitting down past their bikini, so it's like covering their glutes. Or if that we know that they want to curl it on the day, we make sure we leave that length so that we know that it's going to like sit up a little bit, or if they're going to wear it straight, we cut it nice and blunt. So just depending on what they want on the day, we'll make sure it's pre-prepped for that in the salon.
Yeah, definitely. That
Yeah.
makes sense. I think it's
Yeah.
also helpful to practice posing with your hair extensions in as well because it's quite a different feeling. Like, put all of your jewelry in. If you're using clip-ins, put those in and just practice
Yes.
posing because you don't know what it's going to get like hooked on or the hair flicks will feel
Exactly.
different.
It's like a prop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And for anyone who like can't hold curls or they think they can't hold curls, is there any tips that you have, or is there a specific hairspray that you could recommend?
Yep. So usually with curls, if someone wants like a bouncier look or curls, but their hair doesn't tend to hold it, generally you'll find that extensions do help a lot to hold the curl. So a lot of girls will come in and get the invisible weft, even if they cut it to the same length as their hair. If they're wanting to wear their hair curled, but they already have the length, they'll just get a row put in to help hold it. Otherwise, myself personally, I like to make sure that my hair is looking sort of like good the whole time. So I like to wear mine straight on stage just because I know that it's going to stay straight. I just had a keratin in my hair, so that's actually like prepping for stage already because I know that it's not going to get that frizziness throughout the day that it might get if you do have naturally curly hair. Um, and also at the Australian show, I have my BW Studios girls backstage and side stage touching up every last second before the girls walk on stage. So if they're getting their hair prepped, they can run the comb through it, run the hairspray on it, and just make sure it's looking the best that they can when they're walking on stage.
Amazing. Yeah, that's definitely comforting for anyone competing in that show to know that your team will be there making hair look absolutely perfect.
Thank you. I know they never had that before, and when we sort of put the idea forward, Pauline and Ari were just like, "This is amazing." And then after the first show, because if you've like if anyone has met my girls' side stage, we call ourselves a BW Studios pit stop crew. If anyone's met them or like come into conversation or contact with them side stage, they are the biggest vibe, and like everyone walks out on the stage smiling because they just make it so much fun, but also it's such a good experience, and so many people have had so many people have had so much good feedback like to give us because it's something they've never had before, and it just changes everything side stage. So yeah.
Yes, I absolutely love that. For anyone who's competing in a different show, if they don't have your team backstage, are there any essentials that you would recommend that they have in their kit backstage to touch up their hair?
Yeah, so definitely when you leave hair and makeup, I would say make sure that you feel happy with your hair because you want to know that it's something that you can touch up yourself or just polish backstage. You don't want to have to leave and like redo it, or you want to make sure that you're happy that you can sort of retouch what you've got. So I would say definitely a hairspray. That's just for like any flyaways, or if you feel like your curls are going to drop a little bit, not too much hairspray where it's going to look crispy. You still want it to look nice and flowy, and when you're moving it around. Then I would say a comb. So if you have like a wide tooth comb, we have our BW Studios combs that we put in the little FMG packs. So one of those, because that's really good to brush your curls through, and then even like a gloss or a shine spray is really nice too to have backstage.
Yeah, perfect. And is there a hairspray that you can recommend? Because I know like some are super strong and crispy and some are kind of like wet.
You don't want a lacquer, like the old school lacquers or like the ones that you get from Coles and Woolies. You don't want something like that. Our favorite one to use is a Cune brand, and it's a brush out lacquer. So it's like you can spray it on, but then you can brush it and you're going to get that hold, but it's not going to be stiff and crunchy.
Amazing. That's definitely good to know. And moving on to maintaining healthy hair, because you said it's obviously important to have that healthy look and that shine as well. Are there any common hair care mistakes that you see in the fitness industry and how can they be avoided?
I guess it really depends on obviously the starting point or someone's hair as it already is. So obviously, like if someone's bleaching their hair a lot, yeah, they're more prone to breakage or dryness. I think it's really important knowing that we're in the gym and we're training a lot, even our girls with extensions, that we take really good care of our hair moisture wise, and also making sure that with extensions, when we do wash it, that we're drying them as well and taking really good care. So it's sort of like you need to think that like our skin produces oils and our roots produce oils, but the ends don't. So really making sure that we're putting in serums and oils and moisture products, especially in the lead up when we're probably not focusing mainly on our hair, we're focusing on our physiques, just taking that little extra step, at nighttime routine or morning routine to just add those little extra steps in, because it does make a big difference overall to what your hair looks like when it comes to styling it for stage.
Amazing. And are there any products you can recommend for like the ends of your hair and giving that moisture?
Yeah, again, we use a Cune serum. This is like our holy grail product. Anyone who's come into BW Studios knows we're like, you need to have this product. It's a serum. It's not heavy. It's really moisturizing, and we tell our girls to put that in every morning, every night. Like I said, the ends don't produce oils, so the more moisture you can get in there, the better it's going to look and last as well, especially for our blondes.
Yeah, absolutely. And how often should gym girls be washing their hair?
I mean, I could say 2 to 3 times, but for myself, I know it's like it's a whole thing when you have to wash your hair. Like for a girl, especially when you have extensions, you have to literally book it out. So I'm lucky enough to be able to get my girls to wash and blow dry my hair. I'm very blessed in that aspect. We do have a lot of our comp girls and our pros come in for weekly blow dries. So they wash their hair once a week. But by the end of that week, it's really due for a wash. Like we're needing to do like 4 shampoos. So, really, like 2 times a week is probably ideal. I do a sneaky little top half wash sometimes. So, I'll
Mm.
do like my overall hair and on the big one, and then the second one I'll just get my little top section and like hang it over the basin and do a little dodgy half wash. That gets me through for like the next couple of days.
Yeah, because obviously on prep, like you're doing a lot of cardio and you get sweaty. Like, is the sweat bad for your hair other than obviously like how it looks when it starts building up?
I mean, it's not bad for your hair. You don't want to get overly, like too much of a build up on your scalp. Your scalp's really important for hair growth and hair health. So, really, the health from the roots is coming from the scalp. So, you need to think of it like it's skin. So, making sure we're not getting too much build up on there, especially if we do have extensions in there. If you've got the row of extensions and then you're getting build up behind that, the moisture can stay in there, and then it just kind of gets a little bit not fun back there. So I think, yeah, doing the 2 washes is probably ideal, but sweat's not bad. It's just sort of not going to help if you're letting it build up.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And what are some effective ways to promote hair growth and scalp health?
So when it comes to, I guess, like your hair health, like I said, a lot of it comes from the scalp, but also internally as well. So, my last show, I feel like I was pretty unhealthy internally, and I actually got a bit of hair loss all around, like my hairline. And when we're pushing that last, however many weeks, and we're dropping our calories and our nutrition is not as much, we're not getting as much nutrition as our bodies probably need, that internally for our hair, our skin overall is not ideal. So if we're maintaining with like supplements, like fish oils, zinc, all of those things that help with skin and hair, that will help you for those times where we are not getting that nutrients from the food that we might need to make sure our hair and skin is 100%. And then also, again, just adding the moisture products to the ends. If we can look after the roots and the scalp and the internal, then it's the ends that we need to focus on as well. But I think people kind of leave their hair on the back burner, and they focus on, like I said, the physique. They focus on their skin probably second, on their face, and then hair comes last, but it's just as important.
Yeah, absolutely. I know definitely for me, like hair has been an afterthought. Like you said, you're focusing on your physique and then your skin, and then you're like, oh shit, I need to sort out my hair, and it's too late.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you wish everyone knew about hair?
um I feel like talking about hair health again and like the moisture products, because we push it on all of our girls that have their hair extensions or bleached or whatever, is because you see all these like things on TikTok and social media of these girls with this gorgeous shiny hair, and they're like, why do I have that? And why don't I have that? And they do, but they have a full routine. You know, they have a full hair care routine. And you need to remember that this hair down here used to be up here. So this is essentially like, this could be like 10 years old, this hair down here. You know, so if we're not getting regular trims, if we're not pushing the products and moisture into this that we need, like up here, like everyone finds their hair. They always say, oh, my hair feels like really good here, but then it gets down to the ends and it's like so dry. And it's like, well, that's so old. Like that hair is so old. So I think people forget that how old that hair is on the end and how important it is to kind of like take good care of that.
Yeah, just touching on that as well, is there like a recommended time frame between trims and things, even if you're trying to grow your hair out?
Yeah, so this is I hear this a lot when people say, you know, if you get regular trims, it makes your hair grow faster. So it's not essentially it makes your hair grow faster, because when your hair grows, it grows from here. It doesn't grow from here. So getting regular trims, essentially it's not making your hair grow faster, but it's stopping it from splitting as much. So you're going to see more growth from here, but you're going to see it here because it's healthy. It's not splitting. So usually our girls, every time they get a move up, will do like a little trim, which is usually like every 8 weeks, or some people go 12 weeks. Myself, I literally haven't had a trim in so long, but my extensions are out right now. So before I put them back in, we're going to do a nice trim and then put them back in.
Yeah, amazing. And then are there certain hair styles, like as in putting your hair up for the gym and things, that are more damaging than others? Like, what do you recommend there?
I find if you're doing a high pony day after day, this can sometimes be quite damaging for a few reasons. So, firstly, if we're doing like a slick high pony, you're having that tension here all around your hairline. And again, if your nutrition, you know, as that goes down, if you're putting tension on those areas where you might get some hair loss, like I experience, it's obviously not helping that. Also, having the hair tie like in the same position every single day and then sweating and then probably keeping it in there for the day and retying it up, you're going to end up sometimes, you know, people can get breakage where that hair tie goes. So a lot of the time they'll bring their hair down and they'll go, oh, like these little short bits here. And when you pull that up, it meets right where the hair tie sits. So you can
Guilty.
see that that's where they've had the breakage, just because it's like they're wearing it in the same position like day after day and then sweating and then taking it out and brushing it and putting it back up. The other thing is with extensions, like if you are pulling on them too tight again day after day, that's when you can get little tension spots. So how I do my hair for the gym now is I just kind of like bring it around to the side and I just put it in a loose uh, plait, and that's how I sleep in it as well. And then I take it out and it's like I've got mermaid waves, and then it's like pretty much styled as well. So that's the best way, is especially with extensions and natural hair as well, is it's less tension, putting it in a plait, and that's better to sleep like that as well.
Amazing. We'll see all the listeners now of the Comp Closet podcast with their hair and plaits training at the
Yeah,
gym.
yeah. And then they can tag me.
Yeah, exactly. No, that is such a good tip because I'm definitely guilty of like, because I train early in the morning and I just wake up, I quickly put my hair in a ponytail. It's always in the same spot. And then I've got like those little short bits that you
Yeah.
mentioned. So
I better see you wearing it in a plait now.
yeah, definitely. Amazing. Well, those are so many good tips for hair care. I definitely learned a few things. What is one final piece of advice that you want to give to our listeners who aspire to pursue their passions in business and fitness like you?
I think it's really important to literally just go for it. I have so many people that struggle to push past that boundary because they're holding themselves back or they feel like they can't do it. And I think the one thing that separated me from my old self before I had the business was, again, I'm getting goosebumps. When I talk about business and things that I'm passionate about, it literally goes through my body. Like I love it so much. Um, I I don't, you just have to put yourself in it and just say yes and just go for it. And if you fail, but then you learn from it. I've failed so many times. Like I remember opening this salon, babe, in the middle of COVID, I used my whole house deposit, and my family was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I literally had to cover the windows because I wasn't allowed to be painting my own salon. That's when it was like right in the midst of it. And I came from a home salon to a salon with 6 chairs. I had no idea what I was doing. I'd never owned a business. And the day I went to open, we went into a lockdown, and I laid in the middle of the floor and I was like, what have I just done? And then I sat up and I was like, no, I put myself in this because I know I'm going to be successful and I know I'm going to succeed in it. Like, get up, it's fine. And then it was only a 4-day lockdown, and then it's literally been busy ever since. I've got the most amazing staff. Like, I've got another business on the way, and it's all because I literally just put myself in it and just go for it, because no one's going to do it for you. You can't sit around and wait for someone to hand it to you, because I guarantee you, all of those successful people that you see online and you see that you're inspired by, they never had anything handed to them. They just went for it and they backed themselves 100%. And I feel like that's what you need to do when it comes to business. And then if you want to do a hobby like this, or if, competing is your business, like, trying to have that balance, but not feel sorry for yourself when you don't, because you're making those choices. I'm putting myself through this prep knowing that I'm the busiest human, but I don't feel sorry for myself because I want this. And like, I think when you want something so bad, then you just make it work.
Yeah, I love that so much. I think when you're making like so-called sacrifices for goals that are so important to you, and you feel so passionately about them, like business and competing, they don't actually feel like sacrifices. It just feels like, you're doing what you need to do to reach those goals. And I absolutely love that. Do you have any advice for someone who is like potentially on the verge of deciding to compete, or on the verge of deciding to go all in on a business, but they're just really scared?
Um, I would say, I think you're going to be your own worst critic through anything. A lot of people that are wanting to go into competing, again, they're seeing people online, and you need to remember that everyone started somewhere. I can scroll back and find my first salon at home that was out of a garage that was so bad. And then, another one that I had literally like lino over the carpet in a rental house. And I look back at that and I'm like, that's where I started. And then competing, like, I wasn't a sporty person. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just got up there. And I look back at that and I'm like, whoa, that's so bad. But every influencer, like a fitness influencer that you see, or every business owner that you see, they didn't come out of the womb knowing how to run a business or being a competitor. They literally started from not knowing what to do. So if you're in that position, I would just say just start and just put yourself in that position, because you're only going to get hungrier and more confident. And then you're going to come back, the next time, the next show, even harder, or, step into bigger business opportunities, and you just learn along the way.
Yes, absolutely. I love that so much. And like, I think personally in my own journey, looking back at all these decisions that I made, like when I was so scared to do them, I never regretted any decision that I made when I was like that scared. The only decisions that I regret making are like not doing something because I was too scared, because, that growth comes from when you're feeling uncomfortable. So I definitely relate to that and love that so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. So where can our listeners find you online if they're not already following you?
So on Instagram, my personal page is Brooke Michelle Wood. And then on the business pages, we have BW Hair Studios and also BW Academy. And then soon to come, another business, which I'll share, is actually my own hair extension line,
So
which I
exciting.
have been working so hard on for so long. And can I just say, even the meaning behind this business and this line has so much meaning to it. The name is called Alter Ego, and like, I could just keep talking about it, but it's like, I think bringing my love for independence and like self-confidence into this brand. Like when you put hair extensions in someone, it's like their alter ego just comes out, you know? And I feel like that represents also being on stage as well. You know, you just like, it's like something just comes over you and it's like your alter ego and then you shine on stage. So it's
Oh
like
my
it
gosh.
all rolls, all these businesses and my personal brand just all roll into one. So Instagram is where to find me mainly.
That is so exciting. I absolutely love that name. Can I ask when it's launching?
Well, we actually postponed the launch because I feel like I was doing too many things at once. And I wanted to do it properly and I wanted to make it impactful because there's so much meaning behind it. So I'm thinking it's going to be launching next year after the crazy period, after I get back from Mexico, obviously get through the Christmas period. But I am going to be obviously privately selling to other hair salons and hairdressers that want to trial the hair because the quality is just, I just want to start getting it out there. It's amazing. So next year you'll be seeing that one.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. That is
Thank
so
you.
exciting. And
Thanks.
thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I think this has been such a valuable episode for competitors to learn about hair, but also hear your journey because it is so inspiring everything that you're doing in business and competing. And I cannot wait to see what you bring to the Mexico stage.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me on.
No worries. And thank you to all of our listeners as well. As always, if you could follow this podcast on whatever you're listening to it on, give it a rating and also share to your stories, tag us. If you use any of the hair tips, tag Brooke as well. We love to see it. And I'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.